Hi guys, welcome back to another sewing tutorial video. We'll be looking in detail how to sew pleats. Pleats are folds of fabric inside of a seam which are used to create texture and shaping. Pleats are used to control fullness in skirts, dresses, blouses, and many more. Today I'll be showing you the main types of pleats and how to sew them. We'll also be looking at an example of a pleated skirt. Let's get started. Pleats are used to create fullness in a garment. There's lots of ways to style pleats, including leaving them unpressed to create soft folds or ironing them so that they're crisp. Here's the basic anatomy of a pleat. On the pattern piece to be pleated, there will be at least 2 pleat lines. The pattern may have an arrow indicating the direction of the pleat, otherwise it will be specified in the instructions. The space in between the fold is the underfold and it will be hidden inside of the pleat. You can calculate the spacing of pleats using this equation. If you like to learn more about how to draft pleats, then I recommend watching my previous sewing video on how to make a border print pleated skirt. Let's also talk about the fabric you'll be pleating. Synthetic fabrics with little drapes such as satin and taffeta create crisp and full-bodied pleated skirts. Natural and draping fabrics like cotton, silk, linen and chiffon will create soft pleats. Let's learn the basics of constructing pleats. Here I have 2 pattern pieces. The large piece has a set of knife pleats. Knife pleats are at least 2 pleats next to each other folded in the same direction, and they are the most common type of pleat. Once the pleating is finished, it will be sewn to the corresponding smaller piece to make a seam. I've cut out both pieces in some fabric. First thing you need to do is to transfer the pleat marking to the fabric. Place the pattern on the right side of the fabric and pin. Next, pin close to the pleat lines on the same side. Remove some of the pins so that you can fold the pattern over on the first pleat line. Place the ruler as close as possible to the fold of the pattern, then draw an identical line onto the fabric with the marker. Fold the pattern back down. Remove some of the pins so that you can fold the pattern on the next pleat. Transfer the line just the same. Once all the pleats have been transferred, remove the pins. Place the pattern under your new pleat markings. Use a marker to draw an arrow in the direction of the pleats. Take your fabric over to the ironing board. Fold the fabric wrong sides together on top of the first fold line. Use your iron to press the fold for as far as the pleat marking. Do the same for each of the fold lines. Lay the fabric flat on the ironing board. Now we need to take each of the pressed folds that you made and fold it towards the corresponding placement line following the arrow. Start with the rightmost pleat. Use your iron to lightly press the pleat. Do this for all the pleats. Pin into place. Change your stitch length to the maximum on the straight stitch and use a contrasting thread color. Now take your fabric to the sewing machine. We're going to stay stitch the top edge. This is where we sew on top of the pleats with a seam allowance of around 1.2 centimeters. This seam will help hold the pleats in place and will prevent stretching. It will be hidden inside of the final seam. Optionally, if your fabric is not ironing well and you aren't completing the seam straight away, you can also sew a basting seam on top of the pleats to hold them more securely. Sew on top of the fold down the pleat for as far as required. Now we can bring the 2 pieces together to make the final seam. Place the pleated piece on the table right side facing up. Place the other piece on top so that the right sides are together. Pin at the raw edge. Change your stitch length back to normal and use a matching thread color. Sew at 1.5 centimeters seam allowance. Once the pleat is in place, you can give them a proper press. If your fabric is delicate, such as synthetics, shears and silk, it is best to use a pressing cloth and brown paper. Cut a strip of brown paper to the length of the pleat and place it inside of the pleat. Place the pressing cloth on top and iron the pleats into place. Generally, you'll iron the seam allowance towards the plain piece and finish the raw edges together. Let's see some more examples of types of pleats. Box pleats are popular for skirts. This is a set of pleats that have a fabric folded underneath and the pleats facing away from each other. Generally, the underfold will be the same length or less than the spacing to prevent bulkiness. Inverted pleats are the opposite of box pleats. The two pleats are folded to meet each other at the center. These pleats are used in skirts, shirt yokes, sportswears, and jackets to create wearing ease. Let's see some pleats on an example. Today I'm sewing Simplicity 9699. The skirt has a classic pleated design. It has two sets of knife pleats on the front and back. I've cut out the pieces in the fabric. Make sure the piece is well ironed. Place the fabric on the table right side up. Now place the pattern on top. Pin the pattern to the fabric. Now pin next to each of the pleat markings. Pull some of the pins so you can fold the pattern on top of the pleat marking. Press the ruler up to the fold. Hold the ruler in place and make the same line on the fabric as for the pleat marking. Keep this up for all of the pleats. Once done, draw some arrows between the markings to show which direction they need to be placed in. I can't pleat the skirt yet as many of the pleats cross over seams, so I'm going to go ahead and sew up the panels of the skirt. The skirt seams are all sewn and I've given it an iron. Take the skirt over to the ironing board. Pinch the pleat line at the base of the arrow and bring it down on the ironing board. Press it for the length of the marking. Do this for all of the pleat markings which mark the fold. I'm going to start pleating. Starting with the leftmost fold, I'm going to pick it up and place it on the marking for its placement. With every pleat, I'm going to press the fabric so that the fold on the insides are nice and flat. Pin into place. All of the pleats are in place, so I'm going to bring this back to my sewing machine. Firstly, I'm sewing a temporary seam at 1.3 cm seam allowance over the top edge with a long stitch length to make the pleats flat. This fabric is linen, so it wrinkles easily. I'm also going to sew a temporary seam on the fold of these pleats. The pleats are all set. You can go ahead and wash off the pin markings with a little detergent and water and give it an iron. I'm going to go ahead and pin the waistband in the skirt. This final seam is made at 1.5 cm seam allowance with a matching thread colour. I'm carefully unpicking the temporary seam. Lastly, I'm ironing the seam allowance towards the waistband and I'll finish the raw edges together. And here's the final skirt. The knife pleats create a beautiful design feature with the striped linen. Thanks for joining me in another sewing tutorial video. Today we looked at the various types of pleats and how to sew them. I also showed you how to pleat a classic skirt. I hope you'll give this design feature a try next time you come across it, or incorporate it into your next garment. Please like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching!